Hello everyone. I'm so glad. I feel so good. Every little part of my body feels good. I'm so glad. I feel so good. Every little part of my body feels good. Every little part of my body feels good. Every little part of my body feels good. Yes, it's good to be here once again. The last time we learned how to write numbers 201, numbers 251 to 300, right? Okay, you filled in missing numbers. I dictated some numbers to you. So today we're going to be learning how to fill in numbers before and numbers after. Okay, so as you can see on the screen here, we have some numbers written from 0 to 0 on the screen. I would like us to count our numbers backwards from 10. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Blast off! Yes. So when you're told to fill in numbers before, it means that you're to count your numbers backwards. You can see under the numbers in red, there's an arrow there, there's a blue arrow there, and you can see the arrow pointing backwards to the left. Just as you can see these numbers that we are to fill in the missing numbers before, you can see that there is a dash before the number. Now, when you have a dash before a number, that means you're to fill in the missing number by counting backwards. Okay? You fill in the missing number by counting backwards. Now, quickly before we fill in the numbers before, I want to give us a little trick to help us do this better and faster. Now, when you have numbers that end with 0, when you have numbers that end with 0, you fill in those missing numbers by counting backwards. Okay, now we're going to start. Let me pick my pen. Okay, now this is it. Let's start from 20. I have my dash here and I have 20. 20 ends with 0. So when you have a number that ends with 0, what do? You change the two numbers by counting backwards. You change the two numbers by counting backwards. Okay? Now, you are going to count backwards, picking the numbers one after the other. Now, this is 2. We start with the first number, 2. Look at 2 here. Okay? Now, what number comes before 2? What number comes before 2? Can you see it? 1. So you write 1 there. Now you look at 0. This 0. What number comes before this 0? 9. Very good. So you write 9 here. So that's it. 19, 20. If we pick 30, remember, when you have a number that ends with 0, what do? You change the two numbers by counting backwards. Let's take it again. When you have a number that ends with 0, you change the two numbers by counting. Good. By counting. Again, by counting backwards. Now, what's the first number here? 3. Look at these numbers. This is 3. What number comes before 3? It is 2. So you write 2 here. This is 0. What number comes before 0? 9. So you have 29, 30. 29, 30. Very good. So we have to fill in the missing numbers now. Okay? Now here, you have this. You have 270. Now, we are not changing 2. Okay? We are not changing 2. We are not touching 2. What we do is we write 2 down first. We write it first. Don't touch it. Okay? Now we go to 70. 70. This is 70. Now this is 7. I told you pick the first number. When a number ends with 0, what do? You change the 2 numbers by counting backwards. Very good. You've gotten it. Now this is 7. Look at 7 on this line here. What number comes before 7? Count backwards. 6. So you write 6. Then you have 0. This is 0 here. What number comes before 0? 9. Very good. So you write 9. So you have 69, 70. So here will be 269. Then 270. That's it. Very simple. Okay, before we go back to the next example there, we'll do something here now. Okay, so dash at 240. Remember, when a number ends with 0, what do? You change the 2 numbers by counting backwards. You have 2 here. What do you do to these 2 first? You write it down. Very good. Don't touch that 2. You're not counting 2 backwards because we are counting in 200 and. So remember, 2 will always stand there. So you go to 40. What number comes first in 40? Is 4. So look at the numbers here. What number comes before 4? 3. You write 3. And 0 here. What number comes before 0? It is 9. So you write 9. And so your number is 239, 240. That's it. So that's simple on its own. Alright. So now we move on to numbers that do not have 0. Okay? Numbers that do not have 0. Now how do we fill in the missing numbers that do not have 0? Since when we want to fill in for numbers that have 0, we have to change the 2 numbers by counting backwards. Now for these numbers that do not have 0 at the end, we only change the last number by counting backwards. Okay, we change the last number by counting backwards. That's very simple. So for an example, I have this number 19. 19. Okay, because 19 does not end with 0, I will write down 1 first. I will change the second number, which is 9. I'll look at where I have my numbers. This is 9. What number comes before 9? It is what? 8. So I'll write 8 here. That's it. Very simple. So when a number does not end with 0, you change only the last number. Only the last number by counting backwards. Okay? When a number does not end with 0, you change only the last number by counting backwards. Okay? Another example here. We have, okay, let me take a very big number now. 86. 86 does not end with 0. So what do? We write down 8 and change 6 by counting backwards. We write down 8 and change 6 by counting backwards. So here, this is 6. What number comes before 6 backwards? That's 5. So write 5 here. So you have 85, 86, 85, 86. Very good. So here we have 262. What do you do to the 2? You write it down. Remember, I told you we are counting in 200s. So you're not touching that 2. You always write it down. Now we go to 62. 62. When a number does not end with 0, you change only the last number by counting backwards. So we pick 6. We are still going to write 6. We are not changing 6. We are changing the last number. What's the last number? 2. So this is 2. Count backwards. What number comes before 2? Let's go. 2, 1. So you write 1 here. That's it. Simple as ABC. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yay! We go to 291. So you pick 2. Remember, you write 2 first. Now we have 91. Remember the logic, the trick to do it. Easy and very fast. When a number does not end with 0, you change only the last number by counting backwards. Very good. So we write down 9. We're going to change 1. Now look here. This is 1 here. What number comes before 1? Let's count backwards. 1, 0. So you write 0 there. So this is very simple, right? Very, very simple. Okay, before we move on to the next here, let's say 260. Okay, we already have 260 something. $275. Remember, what do we do first? We'll write 2. When a number does not end with 0, we change only the last number by counting backwards. So that means we still write as 7. We're going to change 5. Count backwards from 5. Let's go. 5, 4. Good. So what number comes before 5? 4. So that's what you have there. 274, 275. Okay. Another one before we move on. Let's take a number that has 0 again. Okay. Let's pick a number that has 0. 290. Remember, when a number ends with 0, you change the 2 numbers by counting backwards. When a number ends with 0, you change the 2 numbers by counting backwards. Remember, we always write down the 2. We change the 2 numbers. What's the first number? 9. What number comes before 9? Let's count backwards. 9, 8. So you write 8. Then the next number is 0. The next number is 0. Okay? So what number comes before 0? Let's go. 0, 9. So 9 comes before 0. So we'll write that now. So you have 289. 290. Very simple. Very, very simple. Good. So we move on to numbers that come after. Okay, so this is very simple. You're just counting forward. You're just counting forward. Okay? You can see the numbers in green. You can see the orange arrow here. The arrow is pointing forward. The arrow is pointing forward. You just count forward. It's just like you keep counting. You keep counting forward. You're not counting backwards. You just keep counting forward. Okay, this is very simple. It's just like when you're counting and writing your numbers. You just keep counting forward. Good. So here, the first number you have is 259. 259. So let's go. 259, 260. So you write it there. 260. That's it. The next number is 273. So you just count forward. 273, 274. The next number is 288. So you count forward. 288, 289. So where the lines are placed will tell you whether you have to fill numbers backwards or you have to fill the numbers forward. If you have a number and a dash, then that means you're filling the numbers forward. If you have a dash, if you have dash before the number, then that means you're going to fill the numbers backwards. That's numbers before. If you have number and dash, then that means it's numbers after. If you have dash and a number, then it is numbers before. So I believe you'll be able to do this yourself. Okay? If you find it difficult to do, just let me know. Okay? If you're not able to fill in your numbers before properly, just let Miss Faith know. Okay? Tell mommy to call Miss Faith, and mommy will talk to me on phone, and you tell me what you found difficult about it. All right? Okay, so till I come your way again next time, be good, stay safe. Bye-bye.